Hello and welcome to Talking Football on Buddha's Fantasy Football Frenzy. I'm your host, Ryan Nystrom. On this episode, we're going to look back on this past season and take a glance into the future. With me today, we have Farrell Denby.
How you doing? Great week in football this weekend.
Also joining us today, my boy Andrew Regan.
How's it going? Another big game for Matt Castle. Smell a big paycheck for him coming on soon, huh?
Alright, let's get down to business. Alright, looking back on the past 14 weeks, who do you think has been a fantasy MVP thus far? Farrell, your thoughts?
Well, Ryan, it's got to be Drew Brees, quarterback from the New Orleans Saints. He has led a balanced passing attack in a pass-happy offense. Even with injuries to stars like Reggie Bush, Marcus Colston, and Jeremy Shockey, he leads the NFL in passing yards. He uses many different receivers and has the New Orleans Saints in the thick of things in the wildcard race. And if you're lucky enough to own Drew Brees in your fantasy league, you're probably in the thick of things as well.
Brees has been nasty. Andrew, what do you think?
You know, I agree with both of you there, but I'm going to have to go with Adrian Peterson, star running back for the Minnesota Vikings. Excuse me. You know, at the beginning of the season, there was much debate in regards to whether or not Adrian Peterson or LaDainian Tomlinson should be the #1 pick overall. And I think Peterson clearly quieted that debate. With his consistent play all season, the Vikings currently lead the NFC North, and he's surely going to be on the top of the draft boards next season.
Good point, Andrew, but I have to give the nod to Brees. Next question. Who do you think has been the biggest bust this far? Andrew.
I'm going to have to go with my good sir, Tom Brady, on this one. Coming off such a big season that he had last year, there were so many expectations with him this year. Obviously with his wide receivers, Randy Moss and Wes Welker, still there. A lot of people took Tom Brady in the first round in the draft, something that normally doesn't happen with quarterbacks, and to see him go down in the first game of the season, is one of the biggest busts in my mind.
Well, I don't think it's fair to categorize that as a bust due to his catastrophic injury, but it's a good point. Farrell, your thoughts?
Biggest bust, LT LaDainian Tomlinson. In almost every league, he was the #1 pick. And don't get me wrong, that pick was completely warranted. Based on his past success, how he's dominated the league. But this year, he kind of looks old, slow, and he looks injured. And it doesn't help that the Chargers are having no success.
Good point, Farrell. Again, I'm going to have to give the nod to you and LT. Sorry, Andrew.
It's 2-0.
All right, guys. Farrell's up 2-0. Andy, you're going to come up big here. Who's been the biggest sleeper so far?
I'm going to give you 2 for the price of 1 there, Ryan. Quarterback Matt Ryan and running back Michael Turner of the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, rookie out of BC, has led the Falcons to basically a breakout season, coming from obviously a horrible season last year with the demise of Michael Vick. Michael Turner, coming from San Diego, has had a breakout year and is leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Talk about a 1-2 punch.
I agree. The Falcons have been a big surprise this year. Farrell, what do you have?
My biggest sleeper is Matthew Forte, running back for the Chicago Bears. He's coming as a relative unknown out of Tulane University, and he's been a dual threat all season, helping out in the rushing attack and passing attack. He was a great late-round steal if you were smart enough to grab him.
Forte has been a surprise also. But Andy, you're going to get double points here for going with 2 Falcons. Nice job.
Thanks, bro.
With that, leaves us a score tied at 2-all. We have a tiebreaker. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Farrell?
I'm going to go with the New York Football Giants. After their Super Bowl win last year, they have played with a new confidence this year. They have a punishing defense, and they pound the ball on anybody. Tom Coughlin looks like he has him in playing shape. Despite a tough loss this past weekend, they still look good. They're still a favorite. They're still only a 2-loss team, and Eli Manning has impressed me more than I thought. And he's made people forget about his brother. What's his name?
That's a good point you made about the New York Giants, Farrell. What's that phrase they always used to tell us? Defense wins championships? I think that was it. Yeah. Well, who has the best defense in the NFL this year? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Troy Polamalu. With him, along with Mike Tomlin as their head coach, they're clearly going to win the Super Bowl. They're the best football team in the NFL right now, and obviously Ben Roethlisberger doesn't hurt too much there. Also, the Steelers have the best home field advantage at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh.
Well, that would be an insane Super Bowl, but I'm going to have to give the nod to the G-Men. Their balanced offensive attack, formidable defense led by Antonio Pierce, an excellent offensive line led by Justin Tuck, and solid coaching by Steve Spagnuolo make them a formidable threat throughout the playoffs and beyond. And with that, Farrell gets the win. It was close, sorry Andy, but Farrell comes away with the victory. And that's all the time we have for today. For Farrell Denby, Andrew Regan, I'm your host Ryan Nystrom. Thank you for joining us on Talking Football on Buddha's Fantasy Football Frenzy. Have a great night.